What's up, YouTube? Third Impact here. Gonna be doing something a little bit unconventional here. I'm going to be doing a little review read through of a select number of chapters. Not necessarily from the beginning. I'm gonna be starting at chapter 106 of this renowned manga series. Now, it's one that I've started reading a while ago. I have a few friends that are very into it, and I've always heard very good things, but I've never really taken the plunge and just read it straight through. So I'm going to start from where I last left off, which might seem a bit confusing to people watching this video. Maybe they wanted me to start from the beginning. Hopefully you already know the series. I guess this video is just more intended to people who already know it and just want to see somebody else reading it for the first time, because honestly, I might go back and do all these other arcs, but this is of the series One Piece, and I'm going to be starting on the Alabasta arc. Uh, well, actually, I'm going to sound like a total One Piece noob here. I don't know exactly, like, it's Alabasta, and then it's the Whiskey Peak arc. So I know that it's like divided up into bigger sections and then smaller sections. I'm going to be doing the Whiskey Peak arc of the Alabasta section. I will get better at this as I get through, as I continue to read One Piece, I promise. And if I pronounce anything wrong or anything like that, I apologize. Ollie will get better because I have friends that are going to chew my head off for anything I say wrong in this episode. So it'll only improve from here. So we're going to be starting right off with the Whiskey Peak arc. And I might have to do a little bit of like a lead in with this kind of stuff, but I'm just going to jump right into this. So here we go. So they're sailing to this next island when suddenly shit starts to get kind of crazy on the Grand Line. Their ship's getting turned around automatically. There's all sorts of crazy weather sort of situations. There's snow, and they're building snowmen, and then there's suddenly lightning, and it's kind of just introducing you to the fact that the Grand Line's weather can be really crazy at times. But Nami's keeping her cool. She is a pretty badass female character. She is just taking charge. She's ordering all the guys around, making sure that they're doing their jobs and not taking shit from anybody. And it's like very difficult for them to get through this situation, but I don't feel like it has anything to do with Nami's navigational skills. It's entirely just the Grand Line is crazy, and they finally get through this. Everybody's passed out. It looked like it was a crazy maneuver, but they've landed on this new island, Whiskey Peak, and it's like this giant cactus island, which is kind of cool. And they're met by this guy, Igarapoi, and he looks really funny. He has really curly hair, and he kind of messes up what he says every once in a while. But he goes, mo 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 mo, and then he corrects himself, so he kind of has to like get his like singing voice or pitch right, and then he can speak properly, which is kind of strange. But he lets them know, hospitality is their middle name, and they are known for their liquor and their music, so it's a real happening place. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, who they just met on the previous mission with the whale, they suddenly take off, and things don't seem quite right between them running off and these guys just being way too hospitable. They're drinking, they're partying, they're having a great time. Usopp's telling stories, Sanji's loving the ladies, Nami and Zoro are just drinking everybody out under the table, but Nami especially, she just drinks an insane amount, and Luffy just eats to the point where he just passes out and looks really fat, and it's really funny. So with all this partying and stuff taking place, we kind of see that Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday actually Mr. Nine, sorry, and Miss Wednesday actually know Igarapoi, and they're having a conversation, and he's actually Mr. 8. And there's also a Miss Monday, who looks like an absolute beast of a woman, and Zoro suddenly appears. He overhears their conversation, and mentions how he was approached by Baroque before, and knows about their whole deal, and they're suddenly about to turn on Zoro and be like, okay, this is it. You're going down now. And it looks like a really intense battle's about to start. All the little prickles on the cactus are actually like cross-shaped tombs, so it's like, oh shit, like these guys are pretty hardcore. But we quickly learn that this isn't really the case. The entire town turns on Zoro but he's a freaking beast. They're like shooting bullets at him. He's just dodging, going to the center of their group. Then they're all shooting at him. He dodges. They're all shooting each other. It's absolutely insane. And he just got his new swords in the last section too. So he sees this as a pretty good opportunity to test out his new swords. So Sandai Kitetsu is one of the sword's names. Cuts through things so easily. It cuts through them like butter. He's actually worried that it's almost too powerful of a sword. So he's just running around. He's just messing people up left, right, and center. It's actually insane. He's just running through this whole town. But then Miss Monday gets her hands on him. She slams him on the ground and has the superhuman flour grinder and just smashes him right in the face. You're like, oh shit, like Zoro, like he was messing them up so hard, and then he got cocky and Miss Monday got him, and she got a direct hit with her most powerful attack. But Zoro's actually ridiculous, and he just grabs her by the head, and she's like foaming at the mouth, and he just like drops her like nothing. Like her whole thing was she's extremely powerful with her strength, but no, apparently Zoro is just overpowering her just with his pure strength. He doesn't even need his swords. He's also just a ridiculous trash talker this whole time too. Just like, oh, I thought, like, he even says, like, oh, I thought your whole thing was your strength, and, oh, I'm overpowering you with your strength, and, oh, there's so many of you, and you can't even take down one pirate, your whole thing was about ambushing pirates. So Zoro is pretty beastly himself. Either he's insanely powerful, or these guys are just insanely weak, but it's kind of hard to tell, because I guess those new swords are kind of like a power-up that he's recently acquired, so he's going to be showing off his capabilities a little bit. So Mr. 9 comes in, he has his acrobatics attack that's really shitty, and doesn't really do anything. He just gets destroyed. Miss Wednesday has this drunk duck that she rides around on that doesn't do anything she says, because it has a big barrel and it just keeps drinking it, so I assume that this big duck thing is drunk all the time, which is also pretty funny. And Wednesday actually takes Luffy as a hostage while Mr. 9 has his like chains around him, and Igarapoi, sorry, these guys' names are just crazy, has him like locked on with his like cannonball hair. Yeah, that's his attack. I didn't even have time to mention that because so much crap's happening right now. But it's like, yeah, right. Like, you're going to be able to stab Luffy and do anything. But that doesn't even matter because it doesn't even get to that point. Zoro just swings around Mr. 9 into Igarapoi, into Wednesday, just completely demolishes them. Just ridiculous. Like, these guys are... Zoro is just insanely strong at this point. Like, these guys are no problem to him. Oh, and I forgot to mention, after Zoro swings Mr. 9 into Wednesday, he actually bounces off of super fat Luffy and bounces up to get Igarapoi. So just all three of them, just like nothing. But then suddenly two more of these Baroque group show up, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine. And you think for a second, maybe these guys aren't shit, because these other guys were really, really weak. But, it might be funny if they are shit, too, because, these guys are just getting destroyed left, right, and center. But the reason that they're sent is that someone has discovered the Alabaster leader's identity, and that a spy has infiltrated their group. And it turns out that Igaram is Igarapoi's real name, and he is a spy, and that the second spy is Nefertari Vivi. Nefertari Vivi. And that is Miss Wednesday. So she is also a spy, and these two have just been sent to clean that up, which is funny because, like, these enemies are being sent to take out the enemies that we have already just taken out with absolutely no problem. So it's kind of like, okay, what's going on here? So Mr. 5 shows up, and he can shoot boogers. He has the nose fancy cannon. He just picks his nose and he just flings it, and it's a cannon, which is absolutely insane. It's said that from 5 down they have abilities. We don't quite know what those are yet, but this looks like these guys are pretty damn powerful, so that's kind of cool. And Nami is kind of pissing me off now. She was really impressing me with all of her naval skills earlier on, but now she's just being a bitch. Like, Zoro's trying to do his thing, and she's saying how that there's the 30% interest that there was on the swords, or a 300% actually, I believe. So even though he didn't have to use the money to buy the swords, he gave the money right back to her. She's still like, you still owe me money, and blah, blah, blah. And she's kind of a bitch. So, I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence about Nami. I like her in a way, but then at the same time, she can be really annoying. But then at the same time, all these characters can kind of be annoying in their own ways, and that's just funny because they're quirky, but Nami's a bit of a bitch. So, number 5 and Miss Valentine are chasing down Miss Wednesday, and Miss Monday actually stands to stand up to her and like try to stop number 5, but we kind of know she's gonna get wrecked because Zoro already kind of destroyed her, no problem, with his bare hands. But she gets really wrecked by this crazy Lairate attack, and it turns out that he has the Bomb fruit, which allows him to make anything that he, any part of his body, I guess even including his boogers, bombs, which is kind of crazy. So he has his bomb Lairate that just destroys her in one hit, and he goes to fire one of his crazy booger bomb attacks, but Zoro's new sword can cut even that in half, and that's pretty cool. So then it's explained that Baroque Works hopes to create an ideal nation, but we're not really given that much more on that, because we're seeing Luffy sort of waking up and wanting to go back to bed, but he gets really angry for some reason, and he says that he wants to fight Zoro and that he's never going to forgive him, and you're like, what? Like, what's going on here? Zoro hasn't done anything. All he's been doing is fighting and saving our asses all night. But Luffy is a complete idiot, and all he sees is that all these people have been attacked by Zoro because they're bad, and because they were trying to, like, kill these people. But all he did was say to one of them, like, oh, what happened here? And the guy says, oh, your friend Zoro, he killed us, he attacked us. And then Luffy gets just so pissed that he won't listen to any excuse. He's like, you don't make any excuses or anything. And it's like, Zoro obviously had a reason for doing this. He's not just attacking these people for no reason, you idiot. But, I mean, that's Luffy for you. He's an idiot. So, Luffy is not listening to reason. He wants to fight Zoro, and those two are just going at it. They're going ham, and it's a pretty amazing fight going on between those two. And it's really funny because the whole thing is that there's Miss Valentine and number 5, and they're chasing Miss Wednesday, and then that's the main thing, and that Zoro was going to jump in and try to help. But now Luffy's in here, and they're fighting, and number 5 and Miss Valentine, just nobody really cares about them, but they just kind of get caught up in this fight. When, like, Luffy gets sent flying back, they just get sent flying back as well. Miss Valentine can go flying in the air because her ability is the Kilo fruit, which allows her to change her weight, which is kind of cool. So just from the explosion that's created from Luffy being sent flying, she can float up into the air. And as soon as Luffy comes out of the building, he's just holding number 5's like knocked out body, and he's like, oh, that was great. It let me work off all that food. So he's not fat anymore. Number 5 was just beaten off screen by Luffy. Like, it's not even a big deal. And then Miss Wednesday comes flying around, and she's all like, haha, but you didn't know that I can change my weight from 1 kilogram to 10,000. And she goes to do this press attack, and Zoro just turns out of the way. She goes flying into the ground like a complete idiot, and it's just like, alright, I thought that number 5 and Miss Valentine maybe had something going here, but they don't have anything going. So it turns out Miss Wednesday, or Nefertari, is the princess of Alabasta, and because of these revolutionaries that have kind of broken out in Alabasta, it's not as peaceful and civilized of a nation as it used to be. But the only ones who know really about these revolutionaries and their going-ons are the Baroque works. So, Nefertari used Igaram to get her into Baroque works kind of undercover, and Igaram's also obviously undercover in this situation as well. So she hopes to use that in order to find out more about the revolution and all that. But it really turns out that Baroque Works is just using this feud that's going on right now in Alabasta to their advantage, and they're just going to move in and take it all over for themselves. Now, she says that you can't know the leader of the group's name, Mr. Zero, because as soon as you know his name, people are sent to kill you, which is exactly why Number 5 and Miss Valentine were sent to kill Igaram and Nefertari. But she accidentally lets it slip in explaining this that it's Crocodile, and it's hilarious because as soon as she says it, I don't remember their names, but there's like a vulture and this otter, and they've been kind of sitting around this whole fight, and they're just like sitting there, and as soon as she says crocodile, they just kind of look at each other, and they're like, all right, we're going, and they're going to go report to Crocodile that somebody knows their name so that somebody can be sent to kill them. And it's really funny. Nami is like, no, like I gotta get out of here before they know my name. And as she's trying to get away, the otter's like drawing a picture of them, and it's like, oh shit, they know what our faces look like. So then they run away. They're totally screwed. But then Igaram shows up dressed up really funny like. He's trying to impersonate Nefertari, and he has this eternal pose that is like a compass that will guide him directly to Alabasta. And he's going to go straight there with these three like really stupid looking dummies that are supposed to represent Nami, Luffy, and Zoro, and he's going to be a distraction while they go amongst the other islands and make their way to Alabasta. And it seems like a really terrible idea, and it is a really terrible idea. The second he takes off, his ship's just destroyed, which sucks. It's actually kind of sad because I thought he was a really funny and cool guy. But then they are like, all right, we got to get out of here, get the ship together, let's go. Then second in command, Vice President Miss All Sunday, who is Crocodile's partner. I feel like I shouldn't even be saying his name right now. Like I feel like somebody's gonna like be sent to come kill me right now. Mr. Zero. Well, it doesn't matter. I've already said it. So somebody probably already heard me. I'm probably already screwed. But Miss All Sunday just appears on she's the one that destroyed Igaram's ship, and she suddenly just appears on their ship and sort of threatens them, gives them a pose that will lead them through a way that the not Alabasta, sorry, the Baroque Works doesn't know about, and get them to a secret island beforehand. But Luffy just crushes it immediately. He's like, you're not going to decide what way we journey. That's up to us. And she's like, ooh, okay then. And it also seems like she knocks Sanji and Usopp down, and she gets the hat. So she has some sort of weird, like, gravity or psychic sort of powers with her Gum Gum Fruit, which is kind of interesting. So she seems really powerful. But they're like, screw you, get out of here. So she leaves on this big turtle, and that's that. That's the Whiskey Peak arc. So, really cool. I'm glad that I'm getting back into reading One Piece. It's actually crazy. Like, it's a crazy series. Just in those couple chapters, like, there's so much happening. Like, I'm having a really difficult time keeping track of every little detail and all these names and all this stuff going on. So, I get it, why One Piece is so amazing. And I think this would be a good series to do section reviews of or section read-throughs of. So, I think I'm going to keep up with this. One Piece is awesome. And yeah, still hope to get all my holiday purchases video out on Friday now. Friday night's the new time that should be happening. But yeah, until then, maybe look forward to some more One Piece. I might read the next section or two, and I think this is a good way of doing it. It's divided into so many different sections, I think I can just do each one, and that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, that's the end of the Whiskey Peak arc and my sort of intro with videos for One Piece. And I hope you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you later.